Meet Bessie, an older lady who enjoys knitting, watching television, and caring for her 5 cats, Mr. Anderson, Snoopy, Twinkletoes, Butter, and Jellybean. When she is not in her quiet home, she can be found spending time with her sweet granddaughter. Bessie has been having trouble hearing in the past several years and seeked help. She was fit with a hearing aid, a phonak receiver in the ear style. Recently, she has reported even more difficulty understanding speech than before, especially voices of higher pitch, and thinks something must be amiss. She is back again today with her granddaughter to have her hearing retested and to discuss her options. Bessie especially wants to be able to hear speech because she has a hard time hearing her dear granddaughter. Meet Shannon, Bessie's granddaughter. She's a studious college student at UConn. She knows her grandmother has a hard time hearing her during conversations, even in quiet places. Shannon is here today to help Bessie understand her change in hearing loss and to look at her options for taking the next step. Meet Dr. Roy, Bessie's audiologist. Dr. Roy initially tested Bessie's hearing and knows that she has had more trouble in the high frequencies than in the lower range. She is about to find out that Bessie's hearing has declined and is no longer receiving benefit in those higher frequencies. She knows that traditional hearing aid settings might not make everything audible for Bessie, but she is going to do her very best to make sure Bessie leaves her office at the end of the session feeling satisfied with any new changes. Let's take a walk down the hall and see if Dr. Roy can solve the problem underlying Bessie's difficulty in hearing. Feel free to grab some refreshments as this may take a while. Bessie sits down to discuss her complaint with Dr. Roy. Both Bessie and Shannon are frustrated with Bessie's lack of understanding. Due to the slope of Bessie's hearing thresholds that we will soon take a look at, speech sounds that fall above the curve, which are the quieter sounds, are not audible to her. Shannon has just about had it with her grandmother complaining of her mumbling, and they are ready to fix the problem. This is Bessie's audiogram. She only has a mild hearing loss for most sounds, but it precipitously or steeply slopes to a severe hearing loss in those high-pitched areas. Dr. Roy sits Bessie in front of the Verifit to take real ear aided response measurements to show that because her hearing loss in the higher frequencies has significantly decreased, the hearing aid can no longer amplify those sounds at a comfortable and audible level. This makes Bessie sad because she can't hear some speech sounds. She can't understand what her granddaughter Shannon is saying sometimes. As you will see, the targets for soft and average speech are not being met with the current hearing aid settings above 2000 Hz, nor are they in the audible range. And now, a word about carrots from the Verifit.
Carrot. A carrot is a long reddish-yellow vegetable which has several thin leaves on a long stem. and which belongs to the parsley family. Carrots are grown all over the world in gardens and in the wild in the fields.
What kind of tricks does Dr. Roy have up her sleeve to help Bessie? Frequency lowering is an option for those with severe or profound high-frequency hearing loss or cochlear dead regions who have trouble distinguishing high-frequency speech sounds such as fricatives. Frequency lowering is an algorithm in your hearing aid that can take high-frequency sounds and move them into the audible frequency range, making the distorted sounds more clear. One way of this is frequency transposition. In frequency transposition, the high-frequency sounds above a cutoff are simply moved down into the lower frequency range. Another method is frequency translation, in which the high-frequency cue is replicated and moved into a lower, audible frequency while continuing to provide high-frequency input. The last common method is frequency compression, in which the frequencies are, you guessed it, compressed into the audible range. This compression can be linear, affecting all frequencies, or non-linear, affecting only the frequencies above a cutoff. Dr. Roy will now turn on the frequency lowering program in Bessie's hearing aid called Sound Recover 2. With this setting turned on in Bessie's Phonak Audeo B hearing aid, the targets in the higher frequencies should be compressed into her audible range right before the sloping of her threshold of hearing. Before, the targets ran flat across the speech map, which made the high frequencies inaudible. The Sound Recover 2 restores her access to high-frequency information while preserving her discrimination and sound quality. With this setting, the low and mid-frequency sounds remain as audible as they were before. We will now see how the Sound Recover 2 treats high-frequency sounds such as s and sh. Before this setting was turned on, Bessie could not distinguish those sounds, which made everyday communication quite a challenge. The frequency compression will not only move those sounds into audible range, but also move the frequency peaks so they are not overlapping. She will finally be able to distinguish these sounds without the signal being distorted. Another way to determine if high-frequency sounds can be distinguished is to use filtered speech centered at 4,000 and 6,000 Hz to ensure that they do not overlap too much.
A carrot is a long reddish-yellow vegetable which has several thin leaves on a long stem and which belongs to the parsley family. Carrots are grown all over the world in gardens and in the wild in the fields. A carrot is a long reddish-yellow vegetable which has several thin leaves on a long stem and which belongs to the parsley family. Carrots are grown all over the world in gardens and in the wild in the field.
Frequency lowering is adaptive, flexible, and provides less distortion, so Dr. Roy is confident that with these adjustments, Bessie will leave delighted that she can hear Shannon crisp and clearly. Now isn't that just the cat's meow?